A very warm welcome to the South Asia Clean Energy Forum 2024, and especially for this session on market transformation for super efficient appliances. This session aims to explore strategies to advance energy efficient appliances in South Asia. USAID, through its SACEF, is working across the region on creating a market for energy efficient appliances and reducing the appliance energy efficiency, reducing the appliance energy use. We would also like to extend our gratitude to Energy Efficiency Services Limited for co-hosting this session. USAID has a long-standing partnership with EESL, working together on several clean energy portfolios, including building energy efficiency, super efficient air conditioning, and e-mobility in India. Together, we are exploring regional cooperation to enhance the energy efficiency of appliances across South Asia. To begin with, I would like to invite Apurva Chaturvedi, a senior clean energy specialist at USAID India, to deliver her welcome remarks and set the context for this session.
Thank you, Namaskar, and a very good afternoon to all. It's always a challenge to reconvene people after lunch, and hopefully this session that we are co-hosting with Energy Efficiency Services Limited will waken you up post-lunch. So again, a very warm welcome back to SACEF 24 in this session on market transformation for energy efficient appliances. The reason why we kept this session particularly for our South Asian guests, because appliances and energy efficient appliances is still a gap area in many countries. And this is something we really want to ramp up, scale up, and take advantage of as a regional, collaboration, how we can bring, better quality products, how we can reduce the cost, and how we can make them available to everyone. So with that, I'll just give 4 or 5 slides of what we think about as USAID and in terms of what we are doing in the region and how we can strengthen the collaboration between different countries, particularly on energy efficient appliances. So with that, can somebody please move? Oh. So if we look at South Asia as a whole, if we look at the appliance consumption, appliance numbers, we really have escalating numbers, and this is something that we are quoting from IEA, the International Energy Agency. Bangladesh tops the list, 91% energy use in Bangladesh, followed by Sri Lanka, again, which has quite a good standards and labeling program, then followed by India, and then Sri Lanka almost on the same level. And then we have Nepal, and then Maldives, and then Bhutan. So everywhere, the appliance energy use in South Asia is over 40%. So close to, on an average, 50% energy use is coming from appliances itself. And that establishes a very strong business case to bring in energy efficiency in this area. And what we've studied, so we went to all these countries in South Asia and also working with Government of India very closely on this. There are some very common challenges in the region, and common challenges mean that there are opportunities in the region to collaborate on these things. First is the availability itself of energy efficient appliances. Now, different countries have different meanings of energy efficiency and different standards of energy efficiency. In some, the standards have not been even defined. In certain cases, standards and, for some of the appliances have been defined, but the implementation is still a challenge. Also, the access to the consumer of these appliances. If they are not in the market, even if the consumer is well informed, there are standards and labels in the country, but if there is no availability, no access, no availability of these products in that domestic market, then what happens? Also, apart from India, if you see the size of each of the countries in the region, it's a very small market size. Now that has its challenges, because if the size of the market is very small and fragmented across appliances, it means that the volumes or the economies of scale is not available to that region or that country or that market. So that's again a common challenge when we see Bhutan, Maldives, very small markets. So the best quality suppliers or the manufacturers are not entering these markets to establish a whole supply chain. The third is, of course, very importantly again, even in the name of sometimes star labels, you do not have the best quality performing appliances available. Because in absence of either the standards or labels, or even if their presence, if there's no testing facility, no compliance happening, then always you have a problem with quality control and the performance of these appliances. Next is, if also you look at many of the countries, they're highly import dependent. So they're importing from the larger countries, and there's very limited local manufacturing. So how do you address that? The next very big problem that we found was challenges in public procurement to have energy efficiency included as part of public procurement. So how can government be the leader or at the forefront of dictating or creating demand and market for energy efficient appliances? But then there are issues with the way public procurement is structured, how to get these kind of efficient appliances into that. And then last but very important, consumer awareness. Often the demand is made by the consumer for these appliances. So if the consumer is not even aware about the existence of such energy efficiency or what is the benefit to the consumer, what's this life cycle cost based, then it automatically reflects also in less demand, and if there's no demand, it obviously has a cascading effect. So what we at USAID have been I wouldn't say use the word advocating, but what we have are principles are the 5 A's. When you have to really address the market, have to change the market, transform the market, it requires collaboration at different levels. And there are a lot of influences that are acting actually to do that. Availability, as I said, availability of products in the domestic market, awareness that these, awareness in terms of whether these appliances are performing to a particular standard, are they giving the kind of benefit that they are really claiming, even the awareness of energy efficiency itself to the consumer, accessibility. Now even if they are available, but it's not, let's say at a country level in the main cities it's available, but at the local level it's not available to the consumer at the last mile, that's an accessibility issue. Affordability, of course, we are a very price-sensitive region as a whole, and if the energy-efficient appliances come at a very high cost compared to the available appliances, it's a very, it's a kind of a big barrier. Acceptance, the consumer need to accept that this is in their benefit. So that's again one of the important areas which we call as a multiple influences. So what is really needed, as I said, is partnerships in the region, particularly in South Asia. How do we accelerate energy efficient appliances in the region? Through multiple partnerships. And this is what we did, a country-wise kind of, this is what USAID currently is doing with the governments in all these countries, also somewhere in private sector also. So it's a culmination of both. In Bhutan, we have Karma Dorji here, who's the Director General of the Ministry of Energy. He's spearheading the Appliance Energy Efficiency Standards and Labeling Program, and under his guidance, we are working with the government of Bhutan to create this new energy efficient appliances standards and labeling program for the country. And right now as a priority products, we have LEDs, room heaters and refrigerators as the 3 products that right now we are, as the first priority products under this program. And then the second thing that we are already working with government of Bhutan is from the market side, How do we foster partnerships between the existing domestic retailers that are already there, present in Bhutan, and the importers from where it is coming? So how do we catalyze partnerships with them so that the best energy efficient appliances are available, accessible at an affordable rate, and at a quality that should actually create a demand for energy efficient appliances and not distort the market because of poor performing appliances. So these are the two major areas that we are working in Bhutan. In case of India, we are working with Energy Efficiency Services Limited for a long time, since it's almost the beginning. And right now we are focusing our efforts on super efficient air conditioning program, which has already brought in air conditioners much higher, almost 25 to 30% more efficient than the BE 5-star labeled efficient air conditioners, at a price which is at almost the same as a 5-star. So that affordability issue, that delta, which is often an inhibitor, has been taken care of by ESL through their innovative business model, and this is what the CEO ESL will talk about in his next presentation. But not only that, we are also looking at smart air conditioners, which are ready for demand response kind of a program as the next one. And of course, we are working with them also on the demand creation aspects. The second big entity and one of the largest power consumers in the country, Indian Railways, we developed a very comprehensive energy efficiency policy and an action plan for Indian Railways, which was not just adopted by Railways at a central level, but has been now notified to all the zones across the countries, and the implementation has already begun. And in fact, almost 7 major metro cities, the railway stations that are being constructed or retrofitted now has this as incorporated as a standard requirement. And we are also looking at energy efficient appliance procurement, as I said, as an example of sustainable public procurement. How do you do with the government agencies within their procurement system? How do you incorporate energy efficiency specification and standards? And this is what Railway has already done, is doing, and we are supporting them in that. The third big entity that we are working with in India is NTPC, the largest thermal power generator in the country. We have developed a very comprehensive net zero strategy for them, and energy efficiency is the pillar under that. So we are converting their 36 townships across country as energy efficient net zero campuses. In Maldives, again, they already have a prevailing standards and labeling program. We are working with the Ministry of Energy, Environment and Climate Change to strengthen that standards and labeling program by incorporating more products and revising the existing standards. And these are the 3 products that we are working on. Then there's a new task, which is Maldives government has come up with that they will be, all the schools in Maldives will be air conditioned. So that's again a big demand center coming from Maldives, and they have, we are working with them to prepare or develop energy management guidelines for schools, which has operations, management and retrofit, all 3 things taken care of. And then we will also be piloting energy efficient appliance program in their school to, walk the talk in that sense. While the guidelines have been prepared and developed, there should be evidence in terms of a pilot demonstration effect in a few schools to see the differentiate. So that's, and also at the household level. Sri Lanka, again, so they have a very robust local, supply chain for energy efficient appliances. But what we are doing is really to connect them, to catalyze partnerships with regional market or big players for a demand that already exists in Sri Lanka. How do we aggregate that demand and bring much more highly energy efficient appliances? Right now at 3-star is the maximum that's available there, and at a price, particularly in the air conditioning sector, which is substantially high. So how do we crack that price through demand aggregation model? And the second thing is, in Sri Lanka, typically we have supermarket chains which prevail the whole, which dominate the market. So we are working with them. There's also a benchmarking regulation of Sri Lankan government that all their supermarkets and hospitality chains, they have to have a certain benchmarking of their buildings done. So taking advantage of that, bringing in retrofitting program within their supermarket chains and also their financial institutes. So the banks also have been given this benchmarking exercise to do. I'll just perhaps, end here. So there is definitely, I don't even have to establish a case for regional collaboration, but I want to leave the audience with the thought is, regional collaboration is not just for cross-border trade. So normally when we speak of regional collaboration or regional energy cooperation, we normally often talk about cross-border electricity trade, but it can be expanded to include many other aspects. And appliances is one of the areas where just through markets, a regional collaboration approach, demand aggregation approach, taking advantage of the scale at which certain markets operate, maybe like India, take that advantage, that economies of scale for smaller countries where the demand may not be at that scale, to have a better quality, a more cost competitive, and a more energy efficient product for the consumer. So if we think that the consumer for the entire South Asian region is as one, then we should give these advantages to all consumers if we have a pretty regional cooperation in this area. The other softer areas could be just, why should one country reinvent the wheel? There is this lot of co-creation and knowledge exchange that we could learn and benefit from each other. Then if we have, from an industry perspective, a harmonization of energy efficiency standards in terms of the appliances and products, it also gives us certain, advantage in the sense that the industry gets a whole, holistic kind of a demand at a scale, and then they perhaps would be more amenable to making that shift in their production lines towards efficient appliances, which they can then cater to the entire regional market rather than just concentrating on the bigger markets in the region. So that's, and the last thing, tomorrow we have a session on this, but I want to leave this audience the thought that cooling heating and cooling, these are the two dominant areas, if you see, in South Asia, which have really escalated in terms of energy use. So we have come up to get all this together on a common platform to deliver and have some measurable and actionable, things on ground. We have developed what we call as a low carbon comfort and cooling collective for partners to come around and to test, pilot very innovative, cutting edge cooling technologies, heating technologies in large end users, and then, scale them up through this public procurement model or otherwise to the large end users themselves. And so we'll talk about it. I will not take the sheen from this, but this is a very regional kind of initiative that USAID is launching tomorrow, and we are very happy and proud to be, and we would urge you all to be partners into that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Apurva, for the context setting and talking to us about USAID's approach for market transformation in the region, the potential for regional collaboration, and can be a win-win for us all in the global south. We now turn to Mr. Vishal Kapoor, CEO of Energy Efficiency Services Limited, EESL, to share with us EESL's journey in mainstreaming energy efficiency appliances. So may I now have you on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this event which we co-host with USAID. Energy efficiency is actually magic. Actually, it works in two major ways. Number one, it reduces your peak demand. It requires large-scale DSM measures, demand-side management measures, if we go ahead with. It results in an overall reduction in the peak demand, which thereby translates to less amount of investments into generation space. And the second major thing is about energy efficiency, is about saving of energy. So whether it is a national standing, or whether it is a provincial standing, or whether it is a consumer standing, lesser energy use means lesser money outflow. That means it is very amenable to good budgeting practices at all levels, because you can save money because of low energy consumption. So it benefits all across, right from the national standing level down to the level of consumers. The topic of today is more about appliance efficiency. If we see in India, and I'm sure this is the case in the broad-based region as well, domestic and industrial space today, these are two domains where there is the maximum bang for the buck in terms of GHG emission reductions per unit of investment. That means if you spend one Indian rupee in domestic and industrial space, it will lead to the maximum GHG emission reduction. If you do it in municipalities, probably not that much. So this is something that we have to keep in mind, and retail domestic space is something, whereas when industries, other government institutions, markets, when we talk about that, they have their ways to reduce their operational costs and increase efficiency even in terms of energy, but this does not translate easily into the domestic and retail space, and this space is normally remaining vacant without any substantial focus, and there is where the appliances come to fore. I was reading a report that 20 basic appliances, which incidentally also includes motors, they consume 45% of the world's energy. 45% of the world's energy is being consumed by only 20 appliances. Now, here lies the overall latent potential. If 45% of the energy is being consumed by appliances across the world, then if we invest into reducing the consumption of energy here, in that way we will at least help South Asian countries, all the countries which are a part of this SACEF. We are all growing economies. We have decided to grow. We are all providing more and more infrastructure, more and more benefits. Income levels are rising. People are getting eligible. They want to own more and more appliances. But in this process, isn't it extremely urgent that we ensure that whatever appliance uptake is happening, it is happening for appliances that are energy efficient, because this, in the long run, on the basis of total cost of ownership, they will not only save energy and cost for those consumers, even if they are coming at a slightly higher price earlier, but also on a national standing at distribution utility level, at the generation utility level, and at the planning stage with the governments. When you are planning more and more capacities, it becomes extremely important. And coupled with the fact, every single phone, every single iPad or laptop today is getting ChatGPT. Everyone is getting used to it. Artificial intelligence has now come in a big way. The amount of energy that is required for processing artificial intelligence and all this is humongous, and is going to go out of the roof. So that's why it's extremely incumbent upon us that energy efficiency is taken up in a big way. So we'll just go through our journey, how ESL has done something as a matter of a company policy and as a part of the government's initiative. Vision, I'll just, small basic vision, that is to universalize the access to sustainable energy solutions to enable a low carbon future to the country, and then basic mission to enable ecosystems to develop for responsible energy adoption. It's not something which is that you have to do this. It is creating and enabling an ecosystem to develop whereby efficient appliances get a good uptake. So far, whatever we have done, it has resulted in 58.6 billion kilowatt hour of annual energy savings to India. almost 12 gigawatts of power, the capacity, in fact, capacity has been avoided. This is almost to the tune of 1 lakh in crore of Indian rupees. This capacity, which is around 6% of current India's peak demand, that has been saved so far. 3 billion US dollars. This is the cost savings to the consumers on the whole, and 46 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions that have been saved. So what we do is simple. We work on very simple things, and we are continuously innovating on various things. LEDs, air conditioners, not the normal air conditioners, super efficient air conditioners. We don't get even into the 5-star, which is the highest category of air conditioners. We go in for super efficient air conditioners. Fans, maximum energy saving potential lies in fans, especially in India and I'm sure in several other countries. Electric cooking, moving away from traditional biomass and even LPG based cooking to electric cooking, and street lighting. There are others as well, electric mobility, electric motors, but that's not a topic of today, and that's why we are considering only these few appliances. So how did we do it? How did we unlock the latent potential of energy efficiency? We just went by the simple 80-20 rule, where the maximum potential lies. So that is why if the technology is not, I would say, established, we don't get into it. We get into those technologies which are actually, which are workable, but where the markets are not performing. It's basically, we all know in pure economics, supply and demand are there, but somehow the market is not moving. Market needs a small kick. This is what we do, and that we do by demand aggregation and bulk procurement. I mean, for example, let's say in an Indian fan market today is around 4.4 crores fans that are sold every year. 12 lakh or to 18 lakh fans are the energy efficient BLDC fans. So what we do, we'll do an aggregation of 20 lakh fan, and once we do that, then that probably gives a kick to the market that yes, now we are good to go. Then when we do the bulk aggregation, price discovery generally comes, well, it goes in steps. It does reduce over a period of time. Enhanced affordability, because energy efficient appliances, if you go initially, they'll always be slightly more expensive. Now with that, our idea is to somehow ensure that the prices stabilize at levels which are affordable to consumers and makes a business sense for a consumer to make a move for them. And vendor development, and we focus on domestic manufacturing, which helps the Indian industry to move forward. So we do have various models by which we work. One is a supplies or supply plus O&M, or we have also done ESCO contracts earlier, leverage the economies of scale of bulk procurement. Most of the cases that we have done, we have not relied on any government subsidy, barring 1 or 2 programs where we did take subsidies, but the major programs that ESL has done in the past are without any government subsidy. Deemed savings approach makes it simple. When things are simpler, then they move fast, because if we get into the quagmire of detailed calculations in things where those detailed calculations may not be required, and which may be very difficult for people to understand on both sides of the contractual equation, then it becomes a little bit difficult. So deemed savings has been the basis by which we have moved forward. It is like plucking the low hanging fruits. Transparent operations, we go in for public procurements, it's all bid out, and try to make it commercially viable, because if it is not viable, the uptake will not happen. So it's all a demand-based aggregation, and at times we have also gone in for ESCO, especially on electric motors, ESCO mode, whereby we give the motor and on the basis of the savings we get paid back. So what has been the result? LED bulbs, 90% reduction of price in 3 years. Today, in the international market, a bulb costs $5 to $6. In India, it's less than $1. So it has created a market. Industry has been very receptive and has moved mountains. From a mechanical wire drawing industry, they have moved to an electronic bulb industry. And this is not by no means an easy task. LED street lights, almost 50% reduction in prices over the last 4 years. Annual markets, it is huge. We have done 1.3 crore street lights. Smart metering is something that has again been started by ESL. 25% price reduction in smart meters. We did almost around 5 million. Sorry for this mistake, it's 7 million. It's actually 5 million smart meters. And electric buses, again, it's not an appliance, but I'm just to demonstrate the benefits of demand aggregation, standardization, homologation. How it happens is the electric buses, 31 to 41% in various states we have seen the prices are lower than diesel bus operations. So Ujala is one scheme by which ESL started. This is the simple, humble LED bulb. This was the world's largest zero subsidy lighting replacement program. Almost 37 crores, 370 million bulbs, 72 lakh, 7.2 million tube lights, and 23 million fans, energy efficient fans. And then we also went ahead and did a carbon finance based LED bulb distribution, wherein we distributed bulbs for rupees 10 to the various consumers in villages, and the rest of the money was supposed to be got through carbon finance. That program is still operational at our side, and you can see almost 9.7 gigawatts of energy has been saved. We have been using dashboards. Every single case, dashboards are there, whether it is Ujala, whether it is electric vehicles, whether it is anything, it is all captured on dashboards. Street lighting, we have covered almost 1600 urban local bodies and almost around 14,000 village level local bodies under this program, with 13 million street lights all across the country, which has resulted again in almost around 1.5 gigawatts of overall peak demand having been shaved. This is something that we have come again with. This is a super efficient air conditioners. These are the best in class efficiency in India available today. This is not, I said 5-star, it is the best available that can be done so far in a normal commercial manner. Highly affordable, almost slightly higher than the normal 5-star ACs. These are innovative technologies that have been used, and they are extremely environmentally friendly. As you can see, the current 5-star air conditioner baseline in India is 5.0 ISER. These air conditioners that we have, they are 5.8 ISER and 6.2 ISER. The idea is only to sell and be ahead of the curve in terms of the efficiency standards. The market is already running for 5-star, 3-star, but our role is only focused on super efficient ACs, and we don't get into the market to compete with the others. Business model is again demand aggregation, and so far it's been about 1,70,000 super efficient ACs that have gone out. Fans program, I mentioned fans, a humble fan. There are 4.4 crore fans that are being sold, very less highly energy efficient fans. They cut almost 2/3 of the electricity consumption over the conventional fans. and it has a potential to reduce energy demand by almost 20 to 30%, energy savings of 85,000 million units, and now we have opened it to retail through e-commerce as well. So cooking is another one I mentioned. 71% of Indian households today are using LPG, but significant remainder is still with the biomass. So moving slowly and slowly towards this electric cooking will definitely help, because even LPG, you would be surprised to know that a Stanford study in the US, it has come out with a simple fact that this gas cylinders, the normal leakage, only the leakage component of methane from the gas cylinders across the US is equivalent to the emissions of almost around 5 million cars annually on the US roads. 5 million cars. This is only the leakage, not about the any other thing. So ultimately methane is 22 times more unfriendly to the environment as compared to carbon dioxide, and you can imagine how simple leakage itself pans out so much in terms of diesel cars. So we plan that 10 million cook stoves by 2027. We are almost on the verge of reaching 1 lakh induction cook stoves, in fact even beyond, in the next 2 to 3 months. What we have done is how we try and develop an ecosystem. Basically, direct to consumers, we have opened our products. Any consumer can buy from ESL Mart, our website, retail, also through various means. We are also making energy efficiency warriors called Urjaveers. These are energy efficiency warriors which we are coming out. One state in India is now onboarding almost 200,000 such energy efficiency warriors who can do a business with the help of ESL through a digital interface, increase their income levels while also promoting energy efficient products to the population. Because a company, we are just an organization of 600-700 people, and if we have to reach out to 1.4 billion people, unless and until we bring every single Indian on board, this would not be possible. So they are our extended champions, channel partners we have come out with, and integrating slowly with the government e-procurement platforms. So we have been partnering with the USAID for energy efficient market transformation in South Asia, and what we could think of which can be discussed later on, or which can be thought about, is how can we implement and deploy. One way is direct implementation and deployment. So we are already doing things at the Indian level. We'll be very happy to add on some more demand from outside and provide the benefits to the other countries. Energy efficiency program design, procurement, how it can be done, price discoveries, how what could be the bid parameters, what could be various ways and means of improving or getting more and more appliances. Should the government in the other countries like to go that route? We have an energy efficiency marketplace. We can expand it to other countries also. B2B, B2C, everything is possible. B2G, G2G, everything is possible. LEDs, ceiling fans, air conditioners, heat pumps, motors, solar, induction cook stoves, EVs, electric buses, air conditioners, anything is possible. And then transaction design and advisory. I mean, we can also associate with any institution that may like to use our expertise in this, or else even as a matter of knowledge exchange, we would love to host people. We can carry out workshops, we can deal with various aspects of energy efficiency. We'll be very happy to do so, only as a matter of as a G2G engagement, whatever is required in whatever way. So thank you very much. We would hope that you have a wonderful stay in India, and you can enjoy some time if USAID allows you to move around Jaipur and take benefit of this. This is a wonderful pink city and with a lot of historical underpinnings, and we just hope you have a wonderful stay and productive discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us the ESL experience, for unlocking the latent potential in energy efficiency, the business models that you spoke of, and the regional collaborations that can help market transformation for not only energy efficiency but super efficient appliances as well that we see in your case, looking at both quality and cost. Now I'd like to welcome Shri Alok Ji, Additional Chief Secretary for Rajasthan, to deliver his special address, requesting your presence on stage, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, after Apurva and Vishal's address on this market transformation for energy efficient appliances in South Asia, I don't think I have anything special to address to you. Only I would like to share many of the engagements which I personally and the state of Rajasthan had with these institutions, so that you can feel it, that how important and how possible all these things are in near future. I am thankful to USAID and ESL that you have organized this conference in city of Jaipur, a heritage city, and of course Pink City. So I welcome you all once again. State government of Rajasthan is very happy that this is being organized here. State of Rajasthan, all of you know that it is a place where a lot of solar insolation is there, and we as a state are supposed to have a leading role in the energy transition. Out of 500 gigawatt of solar energy and renewable which is supposed to be generated in the country by 2030, our share is 115 gigawatt. And I'm happy to share with you that recently we had a renewable energy meet, global renewable energy meet that took place in Ahmedabad. State of Rajasthan was adjudged one of the first state in generation and future transformation and transition of the energy. See, I will also take this occasion to mention our Honorable PM Panchamrit pledge, which he did in COP26 Glasgow, non-fossil energy capacity that I mentioned, 500 gigawatts by 2030. Renewable energy, half of the energy needs India is targeting to meet by renewable energy 2030. India is also targeting to reduce carbon emissions by 1 billion tons by 2030. GDP emissions intensity, India will reduce the emissions intensity of its GDP by 45% over 2005 levels, and we are committed for net zero emissions by 2070. In the state of Rajasthan, we are going around different parts of the world also for investment in the state of Rajasthan, and I'm happy to share with you that around 15 lakh crore has been committed as an investment for the state of Rajasthan, and out of that around 75% is in the sector of renewable energy, and I'm happy that Rajasthan would be contributing a lot in energy transition of the country. And of course, there are other things which I will mention. See, this journey of ESL, which Vishal Kapoorji mentioned in front of us, Rajasthan is also a part of it. I was there in the Ministry of Power, Government of India, and I was also in the Bureau of Energy Efficiency in 2014. And this transformation, market transformation of Ujala started in 2015. And I'm happy to share with you, that time I was Energy Secretary here. And when we went around the villages, and we all only used to see the tungsten bulb and some of the CFL. But now if you go to any of the villages, at all places you will get LED bulbs. Of course, the prices have gone down below $1, and people are using different flavors of LED bulbs, warm light, white light and whatnot. In fact, the facade lighting of different buildings, houses, they have also gone up because of this market transformation, lowering of cost, lowering of energy cost to the household. And clubbed with this, solar energy, rooftops and PM Surya Ghar, I think country is going to change. And I would request my friends from South Asian countries that you should also partner with us, and USAID can take a lead to formation of a partnership. And this is going to change in such a fast manner, I can't tell you. You will feel that, because when I look back at 2014 and in 2024, things have changed. In between, I was in energy sector, but I had gone to different sectors also. But I think this sector is bringing challenges day by day. There are so many options, like this induction cook stove. In fact, state of Rajasthan has decided to start with 10,000 induction cook stove to be distributed in the villages at 50% of the cost of these appliances. This is going to be a game changer, I am telling you. A person can generate electricity in their house, can consume electricity in their house, can sell electricity from their house, which was earlier supposed to be somebody else's job. So I think this market transformation of appliances is going to make everybody independent, and the whole society will be sustainable, because 3 to 5 kilowatt of solar rooftop is enough to generate electricity for, if we club it with energy efficient appliances, I think it is enough for most of the families to take care of the energy needs. So I think different appliances club with Tanmay Tathagat is here. I think he will be speaking about buildings, etc., net zero. So club with energy conservation building code, which most of the states in India is following. Our partner countries and South Asian countries can also follow it in a big way, and things will improve a lot. Star leveling program in Bureau of Energy Efficiency, when I was there, he was thinking of 4-star, 3-star, 4-star. Now you have come to, I said, level, which was not thinkable at that time. We were saying that it will happen, and now it has happened. So thanks to ESL and different partners, that we have come to a stage, actually market has transformed. I was meeting many of our industry friends. In fact, Rajasthan is also having an energy conclave, where we are calling people from different appliances, manufacturing, users, so that we can discuss all these things. And I am very hopeful in coming 5 to 10 years, this 45% energy consumption requirement of the appliances will definitely go by 5 to 10%. So I think this is a great challenge, and with different technologies coming up, I think this is a great opportunity also. I will not stand between the panel discussion more, and I once again welcome you to the city of Jaipur, state of Rajasthan. And you are not supposed to come here, you have come here. I think you will like this place, and I invite you to come again to the state of Rajasthan and city of Jaipur. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your invitation, for your special address, sharing with us the extensive work the state of Rajasthan has undertaken in promoting energy efficiency, integrating renewable energy, as well as from a responsible clean energy transition perspective. So now with this, we will move on to the panel, the next part of the session, the panel discussion. Let me call the expert speakers from different countries of this region. First up, may I request Mr. Karmapi Dorji, Director General, Department of Environment from Bhutan, on the stage, please, sir. Mr. Narendra De Silva, General Manager, Lanka Electricity Corporation, LECO, and CEB on the stage from Sri Lanka. Dr. Kundan Prokrail, Senior Officer, Nepal's Alternative Energy Promotion Center. Ms. Aminath Shiza, Assistant Director from the Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, joining us from Maldives. Mr. Chandrasekhar Reddy, Media Advisor for the Bureau of Energy Efficiency from the Southern States of India. We also today have speakers from the industry, Mr. Jitendra Agarwal, CEO of Surya Roshni from India, and Mr. Sriram Rangarajan, Executive Vice President at CG Power and Industrial Solutions Limited, part of the Murugappa Group. I'd also like to call Tanmay Tathagat, part of the USAID SARIPS team, to moderate this session. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everyone. So, I think the discussion has to move now on how do we make this transition, make this change to energy efficiency happen, and how do we do it in a way that it engages not just the policymakers, but engages consumers, engages the markets, and in a way that brings the region together. So, when we were looking at structuring this session, talking to the experts from various countries and experiences, we found many, many common grounds, and that was covered already. So, in this particular session, we are actually focusing on now what are the next steps, what is it that can be done based on all this experience and background. So, I start with a request from all of our panelists to give a brief opening statement just to set the context from your perspective as to where we are now with energy efficiency in the marketplace with appliances, and then we'll follow it up with an interactive discussion. So maybe we start with you, sir. Mr. Dorji. Yeah, it's on.
Thank you. To cut the long story short, here's the statistics. We have imported over 200,000 appliances in just single year, 2 years back. And as per our findings, that's going to grow as high as 5.5% in next 3 years or so. As per our assessment, we find that we should be able to save anywhere from 220 to 25,000 of gigawatt hour by just looking at the 5 appliances. And I'll get back in terms of what are those appliances. Has also a saving potentials in terms of the greenhouse gas emission around 200,000 tons of carbon equivalent. So essentially, as Apurva ji has already presented, we are at the moment, because for Bhutan, we are import dependent. 99% of our appliances we import. Yes, majority coming from India. So essentially, it gets transcended in terms of whatever appliances, whatever the efficiency standards that gets implemented in the span sort of India because at the end of the day, we just couldn't have the economies of the scale for us to really look at setting our own standards. So here's the story now, moving forward. We think, to begin with, what are the major sort of the appliances that we are looking at it? Yes, and for the correction, we are just looking at the efficiency standards. We are not, forget, here we are talking about the super sort of efficiency. I'm still yet to digest those sort of superlatives at the moment. But something that we have been partnering with the USAID through the SAREP moving forward, by just looking at those three sort of appliances, the refrigerators, the heating heaters, room heaters, and then I forget the other sort of
LEDs.
LEDs, yes, yeah. LEDs for, as the Chief Secretary, Honorable Chief Secretary just pointed out, the LEDs has already, the markets for LEDs are already transformed. And I'm not too sure what more else are we looking in that, maybe in terms of the creating standardization of the LEDs, because along with the super sort of LEDs, there is also a spurious material that has come widespread in our market. So that's where I think we have to. So essentially, we are looking forward to coming out with a standards and leveling scheme to begin with it, and then see how we are able to manage from the regulatory policy perspective. And at the same time, we have to now collaborate with the retailers, the traders, and essentially we have managed to put all those things into our green taxonomy and then also in the green procurement of the public domain as well.
Thank you. Dr. Narendra Silva, your experience and where are we right now in Sri Lanka?
Yes, if we look at this problem in a broader context, the electricity sector, our sector comprises of 4 layers: generation, transmission, distribution, and utilization. Now, when you look at the upper 3 layers, generation, transmission, distribution, all of us as engineers and sector administrators have taken substantial consolidated efforts in organizing these 3 sectors. However, we must confess and accept the fact that the utilization sector, we have not, it is a question whether we have looked that sufficiently in depth. However, once when we get this upper layers well organized, this has a bad and a good about it. The good about it is that there is substantial amount of juice, potential benefit that we can derive out of getting this sector organized, consolidated and aggregated. However, we must accept the fact that this is the sector which is in the market, thoroughly inside the market economics. Therefore, the basic principles of market economics works here.
Yep.
The first principle, larger the market, more economical it is.
Yes.
So we have to accept this fact. So as a region, if we are in a position, if we are open-minded enough to consolidate, unify our standards and make this looks, at least it looks as if it is a single market, then probably everybody of us is going to be benefited. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Kundan, from Nepal's perspective, where are we now?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thanks to organizer USAID for giving this opportunity to be an esteemed panel. Now I would like to share my insights, how we are working, where we are, and what are obstacles that we are facing in Nepal. And parallelly, I will get an opportunity to learn from the other fellow panelists. In case of Nepal, if we talk about the energy efficiency, energy efficiency in Nepal get momentum since 2018. Once we developed National Energy Efficiency Strategy. By laying out the comprehensive plans to enhance energy efficiency across the country. And just we have tabulated this National Nepal Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency bills in the parliament. Hope to we have it in next year. Now, APC, from the Nepal, APC taking initiative for the promotion of energy efficiency. Basically, we have been just like adopting 5 pillars that have been mentioned in our national energy efficiency strategy. That one first is awareness. Second one is just like institutional buildings. Third one is standard and leveling. Fifth is like a competitives. And last one is reduce of import of energy. Recently, APC is developing just like some standards of the home appliances like refrigerator, conditioner, induction cook stoves, LED, solar pumps, this thing. And we are having just like continuous support from USAID. I would like to thank USAID for getting us a continuous support to prepare these standards. And we have just like we have already prepared just like a framework for safety and performance for electric fan. Yet we have to get approval from ministry. Besides this, the main purpose of this preparing standard is to ensure that just like in the Nepalese market we have a super efficient and efficient product, so that we can reduce reduce our energy consumption.
Yes.
And we can have a long-term benefit, and we can support to just like energy mix and energy transitions.
Thank you, sir. Now, from Maldives, Ms. Shiza.
Thank you. So in the context of Maldives, as we are a developing country, each year our electricity consumption is also increasing by around 9%, and annually we are also spending about 10% of our GDP on fuel imports, and 80% of all fuel imports is diesel. So we are spending a lot on our electricity sector. So for this reason, adopting energy efficiency methods is very highly important for us. And we have started awareness for the public. So several years ago, we started with introducing LED lights and inverter ACs. So with these efforts, currently in our market, we do not have non-inverter ACs, we only have inverter ACs. So as such, our current focus right now is to promote the energy efficiency standards and labeling program, which goes under the name Hakatari program. And in this program, we are mostly focusing on the cooling appliances as of now, because as Maldives is a very hot country, for cooling, we use a lot of electricity. So we have air conditioners, refrigerators, and washing machines under this program. And under SACEF aid, USAID, we are also trying to include other appliances in the energy efficiency standards and labeling program, which are water pumps, water heaters, and electrical fans. So,
thank you. Mr. Reddy, you've been part of many initiatives on energy efficiency, and you have the on-the-ground experience. So from your perspective, I want to know, from a consumer perspective, market perspective, where do you see the Indian market for energy efficiency appliances?
Thank you so much, Tanmayji. Thanks for this opportunity. Just with your permission, I will take few minutes. You know, in India, the integrated state of Andhra Pradesh has been bifurcated during 2014. After bifurcation, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, two states have been separated. During that course of time, there was some power shortage, maybe 20-25%. Government was forced to impose power cuts also. There was a lot of constraints for industrial consumers and other domestic consumers. By and large, the economy of the state was little bit disturbed and affected. In that scenario, the government of Andhra Pradesh took very wise decision to accelerate energy efficiency through public sector undertaking through ESL. So 2014 and 15 onwards till 2019 till date, the government of Andhra Pradesh has been associated with ESL and Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Government of India, for enhancing energy efficiency and to provide the fruits of energy efficiency to the common people. You know the classic example, sir, Tanmayji. The price of LED bulb, 9 watt LED bulb during 2014 October was around 350 rupees, 350 to 400 rupees. After the government's involvement with massive public participation, with active bureaucracy participation and by and large proactive this thing with the support of ESL, in Andhra Pradesh around 2 crores bulbs have been distributed within 2 to 3 years, sir. Then Union Energy Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal has announced in Delhi, Andhra Pradesh stands first in India and entered in Guinness Book of World Records to achieve distribution of 2 crores 9 watt LED bulbs within a short period, 2 to 3 years. The price responsible for reduction of LED bulb from around 350 to 400, I may not be wrong, 350 minimum, to hardly 70 to 80 rupees, below the, I think, $1. So the factors helped for accelerating energy efficiency in Andhra Pradesh, and it helps for economy to address the climate change, to global warming, this and that, the impact of global warming and how to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This Ujala program helped the state like anything and helped the nation also through this program. Thanks to the then Chief Minister and present Chief Minister, Sri N. Chandrababu Naidu ji. He was instrumental, strictly speaking, because thanks to his direct involvement, monitoring and full support to the DISCOMs and ESL and BE and various other departments, there was some what's called, I can say that golden moment for energy efficiency. Even this is, again, the journey has been started, revived in Andhra Pradesh. Recently, thanks to Mr. Vishal Kapoorji, he has visited along with the team, Animesh and his team, Andhra Pradesh. They met twice with the Chief Minister. They are going to prepare a road map how to make Andhra Pradesh as a #1 in the country in the energy efficiency front.
Thank you.
Sir, it's a small request, sir. One more thing. National street lighting energy efficiency street lights are concerned. Entire country around, I think 1 crore street lights have been retrofitted. Andhra Pradesh itself has completed 30 lakhs, sir.
Well, I mean, I think it's a valid, very valid point that demand and this kind of consolidation that you talked about, coming from even one state, from one region, can actually drive markets, because when you aggregate things, then it comes to that scale. So I'll come back to you, sir, again,
Okay,
but
sir.
I really wanted to also now move to the industry. And Mr. Agarwal, of course, I think we've all been talking about LEDs and bulbs. You must be feeling great about it, because you are actually the man supplying and creating that product and responsible for that transformation. So from your perspective now, you've heard the panel talk about the situation in various markets. We'd like to see what is your experience from an industry perspective, and can, within the current policy scenarios, a business to business, a business to market, or a business to consumer partnership or association is possible in the region? Your experiences of successes, or what are the challenges?
Thank you, Tanmay. I think, am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, I like to mention that it's a great initiative. Energy is, India has gone through a long journey on energy. It didn't start today, didn't start 10 years. I think it's been going on since long, and There has been a lot of experiments and trying to do many things. The electrical, we have heard about the number of appliances which contribute to energy consumption, and the electrical industry is responsible for that. So lighting plays a large part. I remember in 2000s, the lighting alone was consuming close to 18 to 20% of electrical energy in India. In 10 years' time, I think it's gone down close to 10. It's now like 10%, 10, 11%, and which is a significant contribution in terms of reduction in electrical energy. The lighting industry as such, in 10 years, has gone through a huge transformation. Almost like 96, 97% of the industry in India, lighting as an industry is like what, 25,000 crores. Of that, 96, 97% is already LED. So which is a large transformation, and the big recognition. Of course, the consumers have played a large part. But I think the Government of India initiative and the industry played a significant role in bringing that happen. I think the bulk procurement, which Vishalji has been mentioning, played a very, very large role in making that happen. Because lighting industry was why I'm trying to elaborate on this point, because that's where in the other industries also perhaps the answers could lie. It's not only about discovering the price. I think making products locally available, I think is extremely important. So when you're transforming from one technology to another technology, the supply chain challenges are huge. You have to transform from one way of making products to a very different way of making products. So LED is now completely electronics. The old lighting was conventional lighting. So I think that was the huge transformation which lighting industry went through. I think there are similar examples and opportunities which are coming in the other sectors of appliances, be it water heaters or ceiling fans. I mean, there are so many other appliances as well. On your second part of the question, which you mentioned, how the regional cooperation can benefit, either through B2B partnership or through the B2C partnership, I'll just mention, because it's going to be a bit of a discussion. We, at a company level, we've been there in all the regional countries for a very long time. The Surya Roshni is a 50, we have a heritage of 50 years. So we've been there in all these countries, but still we do find that there are challenges in the way, the cooperation can happen in the South Asia region. And one of the current, the biggest bottleneck which I, from the industry perspective, I would have to mention is the standards. The electrical standards are a little different, and I think that's one of the bigger bottlenecks what we currently see, and that's where perhaps the opportunity also lies.
Thank you. Thank you. And moving on to Mr. Rangarajan, your experience from working with retailers, consumers, and markets across the region, as well as, I would say, if there is any insights that you have about the price sensitivity, this whole question about payback, incentives, subsidies. What has been your experience from what does a consumer look for? Is it really that kind of a sensitivity? Because you look at a number of appliances in this market.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for giving us such a wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts. Like everyone shared their viewpoint, I think mine is also echoing the same thing, where the awareness and especially the transformation of these energy efficient appliances has been progressed really well. Yet there are challenges, Raman, like we talked about the price that I'm going to touch upon. But every day we see every household, the market share of the energy appliances gaining day by day. I would say actually today is predominantly due to the regulation standards by the government, which is actually forcing the manufacturer to start investing in technology and getting into these energy appliances. But for the consumer, I was just looking at one data, 25% of the household is just still aware about the energy appliances product. And they buy because they know it is an energy label, and it is predominantly in metros. If you actually go slightly away from metros and go into the rural then the part of the town, we actually see that it is lagging. So that's a great opportunity that I actually see. But again, in now off late, for these electrical appliances, energy efficiency is becoming the top or 3-4 purchasing decisions. So we all look for appliances which actually saves money. The challenge remains here. The upfront cost is actually really high to afford a product. Let it be air conditioners or even a fan. The BLDC technology, it is almost close to 2 times the normal induction fan when you actually start looking at it. So I think that's seriously a concern at this point in time, where people are still not in a position to digest the cost at what we wanted to pay. So affordability is becoming still a challenge, which I think in this industry we are all looking at, like how Sir was talking about how the LED was slashed from 350 to 70, less than $1. When I'm talking about fans, when we started a year ago, it was 3,000 rupees, now it is at 2,000 rupees. So day by day, it's coming down. I think that is going to be the key factor for the consumer to start getting into the interest of. I think we need to make the behavior of buying this, looking at the overall cost of ownership rather than the upfront cost. I think that seems to be an industry challenge as of now.
Thank you. So,
if I may just add, Tanmay,
yes.
I think on consumer products, what we have seen in our experience, the payback has to be less than 6 months.
Okay, so I think that is a very interesting point, because there has been a lot of discussion. Maldives has had an experience of consumer financing. Maybe Shiza, you want to talk about just the Maldives experience of consumer financing for energy efficiency?
Yeah, for energy efficiency standards and labeling program, Hakatare program, we came up with a financing scheme by collaborating with Maldives Islamic Bank. It is one of the largest banks in Maldives. So what we did there was we gave them a financial guarantee through the ministry. So they so when consumers try to purchase appliances that have the energy efficiency label, they can go to MIB and they can get the appliances at a lower rates. So the usual rates would be 15%, but with the financing scheme, they can get the appliances at a 10% rate. So that becomes an incentive for consumers.
That has really has seen an uptake?
We are still, the energy efficiency standards and labeling program is still relatively new to Maldives. Yep. So it is difficult to say as of now how the change we have seen, because the appliances, most of the appliances were registered within this year itself. Yeah.
Thank you. So now I have a last point that I would like to ask all of you, but I want to focus on what the presentation and the whole offer that I can say ESL has made in terms of looking at the experience and expanding that product portfolio and opportunities for collaboration. So with that in mind and the perspective of this SAREP platform that we have here, that moving forward, if you had to say what is one thing that USAID SAREP program or EESL could do to help do something that we can see a result, say, less in the next 1 year, right? We want to see something happen. What would that one thing be? So I now start in the reverse order. We'll come in the last year. You'll have to summarize it for all of us. But starting again with Mr. Rangarajan, just, we're short of time, so I just need one idea of what you think must be done.
I think important to me is the technology transfer and an innovation hub. I think we need to have a regional, operational excellence team where, of course, the government will actually with ESL can help standardize and all the labelings across. But I think it's important to learn what has been, what has actually worked in India, which actually can, scale up the learnings. I think second is that learn those ideas, what is working there. So technology transfer and the innovation is something which I feel is very important for us
Technology
to
transfer and innovation between countries.
among the
in
countries,
region.
so that we actually come as a scheme and then build the skills of the
between
region so that they actually can learn it faster.
industries in these countries.
Yes, absolutely.
I think if I have to say from the experiences what we have seen in India, I think the one thing which can accelerate, if like what you said, in a year or 2 years' time, I think demand aggregation. Take 1 or 2 products and look at demand aggregation and put it out in the market. It will happen, then it really goes through.
Thank you. Mr. Chandrasekhar Reddy, yeah, one thing that we can do immediately.
Very valid question, Tanmayji. I am really appreciating your question. The time-bound this thing. Nothing is impossible in this world except having commitment and dedication. Ratanji's Tata's life was a classic example. Here the entire India is saluting because of his commitment. So here as far as energy efficiency is concerned, my personal opinion for the last 12 to 13 years in the area of energy efficiency, worked with the state government level and national organizations. No organization is capable to meet, to accelerate the energy efficiency and to enhance supply and to create a demand other than ESL. Because I have been observing, I have been studied, not blindly, with in a deep sense I have studied the performance of ESL and various other organizations, right from 2014 Mr. Saurabh Kumar was there, now Mr. Vishalji is here. See, a government of India company, they got some expertise in this. Expertise is also extremely important, not only technologies, commitment and expertise is more important.
So commitment and expertise.
And expertise. And public participation ultimately, public participation,
and
consumer centric.
Put ESL on the forefront.
Yes,
for
then only
doing
able
this.
to reach your target within a year or 2. That is my personal opinion.
Thank you. Ms. Shiza, from your perspective, what would be the one thing that you want to see happen next?
Yeah, so the one thing that I want to see happen is to see a focus on promoting energy efficient appliances apart from the energy efficiency standards and labeling program. So we have done that before, so we focused on LED lights, we focused on inverter ACs, like that we can focus on something else now, from now on as well.
So
like
I adding
found
more products, expanding the portfolio
yeah.
and going beyond the policy driven programs.
Yeah, for the awareness of the public, because we did not put any mandatory measures, but since the molded market is very small and we are all relying on imported products, it was easy to transform the market for inverter ACs. So similarly, we can focus on other energy efficient appliances, and I found the EESL experience from India very interesting as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Just if we go just like a previous slides from Vishal Kapoor, just like 40% of just like energy in the world, they have been consumed by the appliances. And if we go through this like a slide from Apurva, in case of Nepal, is around 50% of the energy had been consumed by the appliances. So that, just like in my opinion, either appliances in home or institution or business, we have to, if we can have just like a standards.
Development of standards.
Development of standards. Then it will be fruitful for
mandatory
us.
or voluntary, but having standards for efficiency.
Exactly. And that's like appliances that they mentioned, that would be this like a immediate and tangible solution to reduce this like energy consumption.
Thank you, sir. Mr. De Silva now, what would you like to see happen?
I was about to say the unification of standards, but my friend said that. So I would say the financial models.
Yes, I think financial models.
To have innovative financial models to ensure the capex models move towards opex model. So that's and essentially not to augment the market, but let the market to have its competitiveness and transparency. Meanwhile, we implement these financial models. Because moment that we try to do financial models, naturally what it happens is markets get augmented or certain influence, it becomes influenced. Must not let the market to be as it is today without distorting the market. Let's make financial models.
Yeah, that's a great point that what ESL experiences that you can do this transformation without subsidy. Coming back to you, sir, you have two jobs. One, please, of course, from your perspective, what do you want to see next? But also, you'll have to close the session by summarizing just in a few words what you think has been the regional priorities and where should we go next.
Thank you, Tanmay. I think you have put a very difficult task on me, so to speak. I suppose we have heard everyone, and I think there is a common thread, at least within this sort of discourses. And we have seen, how the ESSL has been, looking at those staggering numbers. Yes, regardless of the size of the economy or the economies of the scale, I think for one to actually get access to these sort of efficiencies, not only in terms of the energy, but also in terms of price efficiencies. The CEO, Vishalji, has actually alluded at B2B, B2C. I think there we have to have built on these institutional mechanisms such that, pretty much rest can actually follow through. That's my take. In terms of the summary, yes, we have seen and recognize at the end of the day, the size does matter. And then it's so wonderful to see that India sort of taking a lead, be it in terms of the, the lighting systems or any other sort of appliances. But I must admit that at the end of the day, somewhere along the lines of actually transforming the market itself, there is this element of, de-transforming unless if there is a system check and balances. So that's where I see a lot of efforts has to go in, not only in terms of harmonization of the standards and leveling, but the important thing is that how we ingrain these sort of standardization to the industries themselves. Because at the end of the day, the consumers, regardless of the brands, they will be actually looking at the prices that they can afford. So in a way, that sort of a market segmentization, market sort of a standardization, and how do we sustain that, I think, to me, in a way, from the industries themselves, has been showing the path, how we are able to transform, because by coming out with the LED and coming down on the prices doesn't actually solve that, because there has to be a natural sort of a progression. And to us, the transformation would be now not just bringing down the prices, but also in terms of the quality at the end of the day, and how do we sustain these quality moving forward. And in order for us to really leverage on these sort of ecosystem, the key for us is, working within this region would be how to collaborate and then also extend these sort of benefits, either through, by way of institutionalizing the, the mechanisms under which we could actually get access to some of the price efficiencies that market aggregators like ESSL is able to discover. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would request big hand for the panel. And I think the responsibility for USAID SAREP program to follow the advice and the summary. I thank you all once again. Over to you.
A big thank you to all our session experts and our moderators. We hope today's discussions will inspire actionable strategies to enhance energy efficiency in South Asia. I would now like to invite Animesh, Head of Sales, Public Relations and Corporate Communications at ESL, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Good evening all. With the paucity of time, I think Dorji sir did my job on his assistance of Tanmay. So I would just keep it very short. On behalf of ESL and USAID, I extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining us at this important forum to discuss a key topic like market transformation for super efficient appliances in South Asia. It has been tremendous experience to listen to the insights shared by our esteemed speakers today. Their perspective on energy efficiency not only enlightens us, but also inspire action towards sustainable practices. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all eminent speakers who have contributed their viewpoints on energy sector. The expertise is invaluable and we strive to create a more energy efficient future. The efforts would be, as this is SACEF we are calling it, to make South Asia one of the role models for global people to follow, because there's a lot we need to do in the area of energy efficiency, not only in our region but across the world. With these words, I thank you all again for coming here and supporting this session. Thank you.